So, one of the things that you mentioned was that not only are people involved, but their talents and skills have room and are
Yeah, sure.
honored.
Yeah.
I know, or at least I'm remembering from a conversation we had before, that this church has really been defined from the outset by external circumstances, and it combined with internal kind of innovations.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, if I'm remembering correctly, that the first service in this church was the Sunday after the Lincoln.
No, I don't think it was. May not have been the first one,
Uh-huh.
but it was. But it was a very early one. Okay.
Right after the.
Right after the assassination of Lincoln. I mean, yeah, this church was formed at the end of the Civil War, and in the midst of all of that, actually met in the Capitol building when it didn't have its own space. And so, yeah, it's 3 blocks from the Capitol, so it's always had that influence on it,
Mm-hmm.
of whatever's going on in Washington. But in the same sense, it's a neighborhood church, and people, they try not to bring all the politics into it, but you do.
So you have I mean, I suppose every community does,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really in your face, this kind of dance between the internal initiative of the organization, the church organization itself,
Mm-hmm.
and the external kind of pressures. I mean, even if we took you out of 3 blocks away from
Mm-hmm.
the Capitol and put you in, Douglas County,
Mm-hmm.
there would be external pressures that made it so you had to think about this
Oh,
child
sure,
care
you
thing.
always have to do that. Yeah.
And so I guess my question on that is how you see change being navigated and what signs are. I mean, part of what you said is that you look back and you see that it's happened.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's gonna, and like I said in my previous, my first statement, change is gonna happen. We're never the same. I mean, from one moment to the next, there's something different,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna happen. And I guess the real trick is from a human perspective is how consciously are we going to be involved in that, and how much are we going to try to affect that change, and guide it and lead it, and for what purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the simple fact that when I came here a little over 5 years ago and became pastor, the church was going to change just because I came here.
Right. Leadership changes things.
Exactly.
Right.
The church changes every time a different person walks in the front door. So it's always in this realizing that and making room for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, or just and it's sort of presumptuous to say make room for it. You don't have a choice.
Right.
It's going to happen. The real choice is am I going to accept it, and am I going to be a part of it?